This morning, we wrap up our special look at this year's Kennedy Center honorees with a woman known as America's finest living actress.
Julie Chen spent some time with the one and only Meryl Streep.
Your clay is the clay of some Litvak shtetl.
She's been called the greatest.
We have Meryl Bloody Streep in the room! Yeah!
What language I am butchering now?
A master of accents,
And Emily?
Meryl Streep can also show more emotion with a single look than most actors could ever dream.
That's all.
With 46 feature films on her resume, Streep has been nominated for a record 16 Academy Awards, winning twice. She's no stranger to accolades,
She's actually lost twice to herself.
yet they still seem to surprise her, including the latest Kennedy Center honoree.
You think of yourself as a certain size, height, and weight and capacity. And to join, that roster of eminences, it was thrilling, but it also felt, oh my God, why me?
So then how do you feel when you read articles or you hear critics say or people say that Meryl Streep is probably not only the greatest actress of our generation, but maybe of all time?
Well, I don't believe any of that, and it doesn't go in the way other information does, like what time the train's coming for me, or...
If it did, would it make you lazy as an actor? Stop learning your craft?
I don't think anything could make me lazy.
And I will work hard every day to live up to their expectations.
Lazy isn't a word you would associate with Streep, who is known for her extensive preparation.
Well, it's different in every case. Sometimes I roll out of bed and do the part, because the script is perfect. But certainly when I'm playing someone who really did exist and who's measured against people's perceptions, I feel like I have to do a lot more research.
Winston,
She has played real characters in many films, including Silkwood,
these are little tiny time capsules.
A Cry in the Dark,
The dingoes got my baby!
Out of Africa,
It cost me very little to beg you.
and
Each.
Julie and Julia.
I know. And you're so good at it. Look at you.
Receiving Academy Award nominations for all.
Can't, I tried.
Streep won her first Oscar in 1980 for Kramer versus Kramer.
And I don't love you anymore.
It was really exciting. When I won that Oscar, I think, sitting near or next to Laurence Olivier. Betty Davis was in the house. James Stewart. It was a really long time ago. Wow. And the greats were there.
Soon after, she received a letter from one of those greats, Betty Davis.
Basically, she wrote, "Don't let the bastards get you down."
And did you know what she meant right away?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. She tried to have an interesting career around the corners of what was then a system that made people be one thing. And so she tried to buck that system.
Many years later, Streep realized that she finally bucked that system. Her 2008 musical, Mamma Mia, made more than $600 million at the box office worldwide. At age 58, when actresses were supposed to be past their prime, Streep made the leap from critical darling to one of Hollywood's most bankable superstars.
Then you realize, or the powers that be realize, that there is
No
an
age
audience out there, and there's not an age difference. People, if you bring it something wonderful, they'll go.
Acting was not an early career goal.
I had a very ambivalent relationship with the idea of being an actor. all along the way. So I started in high school. I was in some musicals. And then I went to Vassar as a music major, but composition almost killed me. I'm not sort of math strong. And I decided to go into costume design. But I did act, you know, and I sort of knew how to do that. And then I got into, while I was at Yale in the master's program, I think the last year I was there, I submitted a law board application and was going to take the law boards.
Wow.
And I overslept because I had a show the night before. So that was a sign, I thought.
After grad school, Streep moved to New York and found success in the theater before focusing on film roles.
Well, you knew my history when you married me.
She began auditioning, including a disastrous meeting with Dino De Laurentiis, who was producing a remake of King Kong.
And he turned to his son, he said, "Mi dispiace molto, è brutta." Perché, but you know, he's saying, why do you, I'm very unhappy, why do you bring me this ugly thing? And because I had studied Italian at Vassar.
You said?
I told him, I gave him hell, babe. No, I didn't. I just said, you know, I understand what you're saying. And
You said this
I
in Italian?
completely, yes. Anyway, I didn't feel triumphant in any way. Didn't think of, but I did feel ugly. So
It did make you feel ugly, him calling you ugly.
yeah, and that was a thing that when I was little, because I wore glasses and I felt not like a pretty girl, it probably affected me. But, you know, these things are good. They make you figure out what's important. It's not important. It's what you do. It's not how you look.
And there are certain things you won't see this mother of four do.
I've never posed on a poster with double guns pointing out at you. And I always wonder about the actor who allows that image to go out, because it's very, very hard to not play into the glamour of violence. I don't know. So yes, and that's because of my kids. Wrinkled, wrinkled little star.
After 45 years of making films,
Because the last time you saw me standing up naked, I was in my 40s.
Streep knows what is important.
I'm just happy when people go to the movies and can suspend their decisions about all the whole trainload of work that I've done before, whether they've liked it, whether they haven't liked it. I just am always so hopeful that they'll come to the theater and see something fresh.
Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny.
And valuable that maybe I've brought them.
Julie Chen, CBS News, Washington.